Hello and welcome to another monthly reading recap video. This month I found a 5-star read, which I'm really excited about. I rank all of my books on a scale from 1 to 5 stars, so 5 stars is pretty incredible. I don't give a lot of my books 5-star reads. So this month, the first book that I read was called The Silent Patient. This book is about a famous painter named Alicia, and Alicia is married to a man named Gabriel. They appear to be very happy together, and then all of a sudden one day Alicia decides to shoot Gabriel 5 times and then she stops speaking. And so essentially this book is a bit of a mystery, psychological thriller. It was perfect for spooky season or for anybody who likes mystery or a bit of a crime. And Alicia works with a bunch of therapists who try to crack the code. They try to get her speaking, but for years she just decides that she's not going to speak. And then one day, a psychotherapist named Theo picks up a new job, and he is set to be working with Alicia. And he really, really wants to crack the code. He wants to get her speaking, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to spoil it. I went through this book pretty quickly. I think through it in about 3 days, and this book's pretty thick, so I think that's really great. I wanted to give it 5 stars just because of how fast I went through the book. I really liked it, but because of the ending, I have to give it 4.5 stars. Now, it's still a great book. I just didn't really love the ending. All right, so after reading The Silent Patient, I needed something more lighthearted, easier to get through, something nice and fluffy. So I picked up this romance book. It's called While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory. And it was cute and fluffy and exactly what I needed. Essentially, it's about 2 main characters. The first one is Ben, who works in advertising, and he gets this major role to work on a project with a famous actress named Anna. And Anna is trying to advance her career, and that becomes a part of the plot. So I'm going to keep that part under wraps just in case anybody wants to pick up this book. You know, no spoilers here. But this book was very good. It's exactly what you'd expect in a contemporary romance. The only thing I didn't like about the book was that it felt a little bit like there was some insta love happening, which I personally don't really like in my books. But I still really enjoyed it because there were lots of concepts in here that both characters were dealing with, lots of character development in here. And so if you like that in a book, I would definitely say to pick this up. But I gave it a final rating of 3.5 stars. Okay, so after reading something cute and fluffy, I went straight back into my mystery books. I mean, it's spooky season. So I read the Mindf series, which is on Kindle Unlimited, and essentially it's 5 books in one, and they're about 100 pages each, but I promise the time flies. This series, every single book was a 5-star read for me. Essentially, this series is about a serial killer named Lana, and she is a woman on a mission. On what mission? I'm gonna keep it, again, this is spoiler free, so if you want to read it, go ahead. She runs into an FBI agent named Logan, and Logan just so happens to be working on Lana's case, but he doesn't know. Essentially, the story of them falling in love, and also Lana obviously trying to keep this huge secret. And so the series went by so quickly. I think this again was another book that I read super fast, but there is quite a bit of heavier content in here, and so I would encourage you, if you're interested in reading this book, to just check out the trigger warnings and make sure that you can handle it before starting to read it, because this book gets a little crazy. The first book was really interesting, and it felt like something not light, but it felt malleable, and by the end of the season, by the end of the 5 books, it was pretty dark and heavy. And so just be careful and make sure that you are able to handle that sort of content. The next book that I read, again, I went right back into a fluffy, or what I thought was going to be a fluffy romance. Now, Archer's Voice is one of my favorite books. It was a 5-star read for me, and so I decided to pick up another book by this author. Her name was Mia Sheridan, if I remember correctly, and I picked up Most of All You. And I thought this was gonna be a fun read for me, but I ended up DNFing it and putting it down. I thought maybe I would come back to the book, but I didn't. I just didn't really like it. But I also stopped reading within the first 100 pages or so. So maybe, I judged a book by the cover a little too early, but I just didn't want to risk falling into another reading slump. So I put the book down and maybe I'll come back to it. I don't know, but it was a library book, so I gave it back. All right, so I put that book down and I grabbed another romance. This one was called Do You Take This Man by Denise Williams. I previously had read some of her work and I liked it, so I figured, well, maybe this will be a safe bet. This book was a solid 3 stars out of 5 for me. I think it started off really well and I was really interested, and then by the middle of the book, things got a little bit slow and I found myself just trying to get through it, and that's why I gave it 3.3 stars. But essentially this book is about a woman named RJ who is a divorce attorney for her full-time job, but she's also an officiant for weddings, which I think that's why I got into the book, is because it just sounds like 2 completely different things. But the book started off great and I really liked RJ's character. She works really hard and she seems like she doesn't really have a whole lot of time for dating, which is where Lear comes in. It felt very similar to Jasmine Guillory's book. There was quite a bit of character development, which I always appreciate in my books, and I like to see the characters growing and healing. All right, and so that's it for my October monthly reading wrap-up video. As for November, I'm really excited. I just got this book from the library. I know this is a very popular book right now, and so I'm really excited to get into this, but it is a bit of a thicker book, so I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get through it. And I think this is also a fantasy book, so I'm going into my fantasy era, which I'm really excited about. And then I am also going to read the 3rd book in the Windy City series, which is Caught Up by Liz Tomford. I really liked the 1st and the 2nd book, so I know I'm gonna like this last book. It's also on Kindle Unlimited. Can never complain when a book's on Kindle Unlimited. So, all right, so thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.